Okay. In this next section, we're going to do titled Growth through Reinvestments. This is a section that's, business heavy, right? That's going to be talking about um, business ownership. Um, and oftentimes I think that in our studies, we go from like this kind of general stuff that we all can really get, grasp, different business models, corporations, proprietorships, partnerships, franchises. Got it. Growth through reinvestment. Really? What? What exactly are we talking about? Okay. So look, um, how do businesses grow? And I want to probably say that we're going to be looking at bigger businesses, right? I think that like smaller businesses, it's certainly like the kind of internet startups that I've mentioned, friends or people I know in the past having done. I don't necessarily think that this is for them. My buddy Asa's business, which was, big, is bigger, right? He does millions of dollars of business and he doesn't make it all. He spends a bunch back in his business, but um, maybe he's in reinvesting. Let's talk about it. And this is like, has to do with taxes, right? Which is like, I don't do my individual taxes. I actually have an appointment soon um, to have my taxes done by an accountant because I don't do my individual taxes, let alone business taxes, right? There was a moment where my buddy Ace was like, he's having tax problems. And he's like, hey, Mike, you teach this stuff and can you help me out? And I was like, nope, I can't. I have no idea how business taxes work. I've always kind of thought like, oh, it might be fun to teach my students how to do basic taxes as part of this course. But whenever I kind of get down to it, I feel like I have no idea what this means. I'm not going to be able to teach it. So anyways, well, this is a income statement, okay, for McDonald's. We're on a McDonald's moment. You can see the net sales, how much they sold, food costs, paper good costs, profit, right? So we mentioned that net income was how much you actually sell, and then that's a pretty good profit. I got to tell you, they're making over 50%, pretty good. But what else though, right? Um, Here's your payroll. So now actually we're going to cut 700,000. That's a pretty big cut off that. Rents and stuff, 100,000. Okay, so really at the end of the day, this McDonald's, um, make believe, I don't think it's real. Maybe it is. Um, on the internet doesn't mean anything. They sold $2.7 million worth of food in a year. That excuse me, and they ended up taking home what, $800,000, which again is still a pretty darn good profit. And I don't know if they then somewhere in here include like money that they owe for the corporate title or this kind of thing. But this is an income expense report. All right, so this is our income expense report from McDonald's. Income statements are how much businesses account for and the profits um, and one way to increase profit is to write off certain expenditures, and one way to write off is reinvestment. So, what are business write-offs? Well, a business can write off things like, I believe, and I'm going off my buddy Asa now, he could write off the insurance that he paid. He had to pay a certain amount of insurance for his employees. I think you can write off a certain amount of payroll costs. And I know about write-offs at the personal level where let's pretend that you're making, I don't know, this company made 800,000. I don't make anywhere close to that. Well, I'm going to write off 200,000, right? Because I'm writing off my or 500,000 my payroll, and then is there anything in here about no, um, nothing in there about insurance. I think that's a write-off also, but I can write that off. And what it does is it says, okay, well, you made 800,000, you just wrote off 600,000, say. So we're gonna take 600,000 off your income, and we're gonna say that you really only paid 200,000. And then we're gonna tax you based on 200,000. And a lot of these businesses understand that private businesses, they don't really pay taxes like regular people. They don't pay taxes like I do, where like every month I get paid and they take taxes out of my paycheck, and I can see it. It shows it right there. Like, oh, we took this much for this and this much for this. We'll get into taxes. Um, but a private business usually pays taxes quarterly. So every 3 months, this business is they're gonna pay their taxes, and it's gonna be taxes for 3 months. And that can hit a business hard. That's what happened to my buddy Asa. Is he had to pay taxes on a year, and he didn't have the money. And then that was a problem for years. He was paying it back. So one way to lower the amount of taxes you pay, though, is through write-off. So instead of making 800, I'm only going to pay taxes on 200. That's a significant less amount of money I'm paying for taxes. Another write-off you can do is what's called reinvestment in your business. Okay, and when you reinvest in your business, you're basically like my buddy Asa buying a new AC truck. He would write off his trucks. He would write off the equipment that he built for the trucks. If you're a McDonald's franchisee and you start a new McDonald's, you can write off the cost that you paid on that new McDonald's. Businesses are really good at using these write-offs to lower their tax burden. Okay, like really good. A little too good, probably. So good, in fact, and I'm gonna move to a different thing here that I believe, and I don't want to make this exact. There's an article here. It says that, what was it? So 91? I thought I read 91. I could be wrong. There's a bunch of super rich companies that aren't paying taxes because they write off so much. And number one at the top of that list is Amazon. Okay, Amazon makes, and this $10,000. That's more like $10,000 million. Okay, that's $10 billion. Okay, in sales. See, in millions throughout a year, but they paid nothing. In fact, they got money back. So Amazon, who sold $10 billion, got money back at the end of the year and paid zero, minus 1% in taxes. And this article is going to say, that was in part because of the new tax law that was put in place by former President Trump in 2017, 2018, in that area. And it made it so corporations were paying less in taxes. That's true that the new law was passed. Before that, though, there were a lot of companies. I know, I've been teaching this for longer than 3 years, that before this new tax law, there were still companies paying $0 in taxes. Okay, this is kind of a common thing that that rich corporations have found ways to pay nothing in taxes. And look, it's not just Amazon. We shouldn't just blame Amazon. Delta, Chevron, GM, Honeywell, Deere, financial groups, Halliburton, Netflix, paid zero in taxes, negative money back. They're getting money back. IBM, getting money back in taxes. All of these companies that most of us probably know aren't paying a penny in taxes. In fact, they're getting money back. Did Amazon get $129 million back in taxes in this year, which I think was 2018 or 2019? This is, some people suggest that there should be a floor. Like, okay, you have to pay at least 10% or 5% in taxes. You can't be making $10 billion and then giving $0 back to the government who does things that helps your business, like make sure that there's roads for your Amazon delivery trucks, right? Like educate the people who work for you. Government does so much for these companies. So yes, there is a way to to reinvest in your business and therefore pay $0, less than $0 in taxes. And I think, I'm sure that some of these costs here have to do with things like employee costs, that kind of thing. But again, at the end of the day, what we're talking about largely here is a way for companies to reinvest in their business, and through our tax code, our corporate tax code, they can write that off the top of their income. And some companies have gotten so good at this, and the tax rate is lowered so much, and they hire like lobbyists to make sure that their special interests can be written off. I don't have a lobbyist. Do you? And this is kind of why there's a conversation out there that's saying these rich companies are too powerful. I'm not sure if you think that way or if it's true.